Welcome everybody to Stadium Journey's Obstructed Views, the show where a couple of guys in a couple of countries have a couple of beers and discuss a stadium somewhere in the world and their experiences there. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And we're excited to be here with you again tonight, he tried to say. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to Stadium Journey's YouTube channel, like the video, feel free to leave a comment, and of course, check out stadiumjourney.com for all of our fantastic content. So let's get started. Dave, what are you drinking today?
So, at my cottage at Wasaga, I found I was there last week and found a remnant of the last poker game I had up there with my buddies. So somebody had clearly gone to Farm League Brewing, which is in Cambridge, but it doesn't say it's in Cambridge. It says it's in Galt, which is one of those funny things because Galt is a third of Cambridge, but only people from Galt refer to it as Galt, one of those kind of deals. But anyway, Farm League Brewing, it's a small little local craft brewer, and I got a big ticket Kolsch. And it's pretty Kolchy. It's clean, it's crisp, and it's pretty good on a hot day. What do you got?
I reached into my beer cabinet and I was like, oh man, we're recording tomorrow. Do I have any new beers? And luckily the beer cabinet did not disappoint. So from the hopping village of Ogunquit, Maine, comes I got a Kolsch also. So it's a Kolsch day. 1901 from Brickyard Hollow Brewing in Maine, Ogunquit, which is a little village in Yarmouth, for those of you who know Maine. See, look at this little Maine scene. You got the Maine flag, you got the pine trees, you got the lake.
Looks like they're waiting for one of those Stephen King murderers. He's got the white flag out there. He surrenders.
That's the Maine flag, man.
Oh.
So like you said, it's this beer is also very Kolchy. So summertime, we're recording this in the summertime. So what better kind of beer than a Kolsch? Kolsch, lager, those kind of styles work very well in the summer. So I'm happy with my choice. If we were visiting today's destination, I'm going to go against the Kolsch wave here. We might be drinking an early bird IPA from Flyway Brewing in North Little Rock, Arkansas, because today we're talking about Dickey-Stephens Park, home of the Arkansas Travelers. Before we dive in, let's take a look at the Stadium Vitals. Okay, so before we started taping, Dave, I did a quick Google search of Dickey-Stephens Park. And you know what word came up time after time after time? The train motif of the ballpark. Everything talked about how it resembles a train station. Do you agree with that assessment or disagree?
Oh, totally. Absolutely. The only thing that seems to be not train Dickey-Stephens Park is the team that plays there. They don't really have any references to trains, but it's located south of the Union Pacific Rail Yard. This is not the Travelers date back to like the 1800s, right? This is not the first park that they've played in. So let's get that out of the way right away. But it's probably the only stadium that I can really think of that has its own motif on its own. I can't think of anything.
Because a lot of teams are named after train things. You got the Yard Goats now. I'm thinking, what's not the Iron Pigs, because that's not really a train thing, but it seems to be like trendy to
the
name
Express,
your team.
Round Rock.
In hockey, you got the Worcester Railers. So a lot of things have that kind of theme. But yeah, Arkansas takes it and hits you on the head with their train-shaped stadium.
Yeah, the exterior is this brown brick, and it's designed in a way to make you feel like it's an old train station. Not a newfangled, like Toronto people won't look at it and go, yes, I see Union Station here. No, absolutely not. This is an old kind of small town train station. Big car to arching entryway, big classic clock tower, which is kind of the central piece to the whole architecture there. One other thing that it really jumps out from the exterior train wise is the roof. It's a shingled roof. If you're not looking at it, if you're not looking for it, you probably don't notice it. But then you see it and you're like, that's different. Who else has a shingled roof in a stadium? Who else would want a shingled roof?
Yeah. Having a shingled roof myself that we just had to replace last year. I can't imagine how expensive it would be to reshingle a stadium.
Yeah, totally. That would be interesting. But you walk in, past the ticket takers and whatnot, and you come to this old. Actually, it doesn't look old. The design looks old. It looks actually pretty fresh.
Yes.
Hardwood train ticket booth.
Yep.
Right, but it's an information booth.
Right
there. And that's I kind of like that statement that, welcome. Hey, if you need to know anything, it's right there. Most places, you're looking for guest services. It's in some corner behind two garbage bins, right? But this is it's right there. The
It's actually
the
in
names,
your way.
it's right your way. Well, for us, it wasn't a big deal. We had a rain delay when we went, so the booth being there was not an issue getting in there.
Well,
actually, the crowd was pretty decent, but a little bit on the late showing side because it started with rain and started a little late. But the theme kind of goes from there, and the design in and of itself is unique. But then everything has a train name to it, right? Like the team store is the Travelers Crossing, and then the berm seating is the platform and the yard, and the concession stands. There's the caboose, and then there's the boxcar and the Doubleday Depot. So that train feeling just is run through the whole thing. I'm not sure what the significance of trains is in Little Rock, if there is. Pass it off.
I just learned this. The train industry is very central to Arkansas as a whole, and Little Rock specifically. It was a hub of the region. So trains were very important in the early growth of the city.
I don't know if this is as big in American history. It was Canadian history. The building of the railway, which linked coast to coast, was a pretty big deal in Canadian history. But I totally get how these little towns kind of sprung up along the rail line as they were being built, and then on the way to California or whatever.
Oh yeah, the Transcontinental Railroad is something we all learned in history class. So yeah, it was a big deal down here too.
Okay. I like the name. The name's sort of corporate, not really corporate, kind of corporate, a little corporate. So Dickey-Stephens is actually two sets of brothers. So the Dickey brothers were both Major League Baseball players, Bill Dickey and George Dickey. Bill Dickey's actually in the Hall of Fame. And then the Stephens were founders of Jackson Stephens and Wilt Stephens were founders of a financial company, which is still there, Stephens Inc. And they actually donated a big chunk of dough when it came to building the stadium. And it's not really that old. Well, I don't think it's that old. It's 2007.
That's not very old, 17 years. I mean, for minor league parks generally last a little longer than their major league counterparts.
And the train theme is just, it's woven throughout, and in an industry which is marketed not on the same things that Major League Baseball is. Like the Arkansas Travelers are not marketing themselves on who their second baseman is or who their star pitcher is. They're marketed on, the experience and fun and family and those kinds of things. And that train motif is just another kind of piece to it. It's another kind of layer to the minor league baseball marketing plan.
You actually have omitted what many of not our listeners, but maybe our listeners' families would enjoy is the actual train you can ride around the concourse at Dickey-Stephens Park.
That's true.
in operation for the whole game. I actually got to spend some time talking to the conductor. He was very interested in learning about Stadium Journey when he found out that we were on a baseball trip.
Let's give a shout out to the conductor who's probably driving that train in 90+ degree weather the whole time.
It was 100 degrees the night I was there, and they were nonstop. So, and it was a big crowd. It was the 3rd of July, so it was a very large crowd too.
Well, being hot in Wisconsin, in Arkansas, they have a big splash pad out left field.
It looked so nice the day I was there. I actually asked, "Can adults go in?" They're like, "Oh yeah."
And they were like, well, maybe not. That's a pretty good use of that. I find when
big
you have
empty space out there,
the 360 degree concourse, which Arkansas has,
Yep.
That outfield spot, you got to do something with it, because normally it's like, I know like in Buffalo and some of these other places that aren't 360 degrees, you got your infrastructure back there, your parking lots, your shipping entrances and that kinds of stuff. But using this, I mean, again, it's a good thing. It's, mostly for the kids of Paul. Great. Another great thing to do. What? We can't go to the ballpark. Are you kidding? It's 100 degrees. Sure you can. Go out in the splash pad.
Spend $10 and go play in the water park for an hour or two. They built this in a spot that has lots of room, so it was a way they can maximize, like you said, maximize a lot of that room in a minor league park. And this was a small issue. It's a AA park, so it was about 5,000-6,000 seats. So yeah, usually not a
7,300 capacity.
73.
Yeah. Now that's with berm seating and everything. So your seats are probably about 5 something.
So yeah, so you got all this room. Usually a minor league outfield is, you got a couple berms, maybe bar rails and stuff like that. But yeah, so to be able to put your train station out there, and there was a concession stand out there, and the splash pad, you're utilizing all your space.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the other things that kind of welcomes you when you come in, and I know this was a big thing on the day we went because it was a rain delay, is the organ. Now, we talked about in our last episode with Aberdeen, we talked about how they played organ music a lot of the time, and we weren't really sure if it was live or if it was a computer or whatever.
That's an inside joke in Brockton now, because during the 7th inning stretch, we play the recorded "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." So I ask everyone to join in with the Campanelli Stadium organist. And it's become the joke now that I announced that we have an organist.
Well, in Arkansas, they definitely have an organist, because it's right there, right behind home plate, in this, gorgeous sort of wainscoting little cubicle. I think they probably designed it to have like a real kind of old school organ. Of course, being built in 2007, they don't have that. They just have your little electric deal. But the guy was right there, playing away. And that's one of the things I don't think I've ever seen in baseball. I've seen it in hockey a few times where the organist is kind of right out there and in the crowd almost. Buffalo's like that. Detroit, Tampa, they're like that. But at Arkansas, I thought it was really kind of cool. And you had a little bit more opportunity to kind of kibitz with the guy as he's playing, which is pretty awesome in and of itself. But yeah, I think that's my wife wasn't with me on this trip, but that would be kind of her highlight, is if she could get hop in there and play a few things. Maybe play the Arkansas Traveler.
Yes, you educated me to this fact. The song that we all know and love as kids, about picking up the baby bumblebee, it's really got another name to it. It's called the Arkansas Traveler.
Yeah, folk song from the 1800s. Predates the first iteration of the Arkansas Travelers, which was the Little Rock Travelers, 1887. So this song, I guess, has its roots really in Arkansas. And, I don't remember hearing it. This is something I discovered after. If I would have known, I would have looked for it and listened for it. But, I didn't see it.
I'm sure it got played at some point.
Probably.
I wonder if the team was named after the song.
I think so. Or is the song some bigger My
Yeah.
Arkansas history is not so stellar. They don't teach too much Arkansas history other than,
Well, I don't even teach in Arkansas these days because they're ranked at the bottom of pretty much every statistical educational category in the States, but I digress.
oh, it's a good thing they've never produced a president.
Yeah. I didn't go check out any of the Clinton stuff while I was down there. You mentioned that the team actually started in Little Rock. It doesn't play in Little Rock anymore. It plays across the river in North Little Rock.
That's true. I'm just glad I wasn't there for that bloody civil war when North Little Rock seceded from Little Rock. That's one of those things. I don't get it. I don't understand how, you got Little Rock, North Little Rock. I mean, Sacramento is the same. Like the ballpark where the Oakland A's are moving is in actually West Sacramento, which is essentially Sacramento on the other side of the river. But yeah,
There must
there's
have
not a
been
ton around the ballpark. Not
no.
it's going to be your get in the car and drive away.
Well,
Definitely a parking lot kind of place. I would say the bridge is like right there. If you're looking, if you're behind the plate and you're looking out, kind of foul territory, first base side, you could see I think it's the Broadway Bridge.
and a fantastic view of downtown Little Rock in the distance.
Yeah, Broadway Street Bridge. Yeah, but the ramp for that is heading up to the bridge, separates the ballpark from the parking lot.
Yes,
And
you
they have
actually go under the highway or
Yeah,
under
they have
the
a
on-ramp.
really smart looking tunnel. Like it's not like just raggedy thrown together. Like I gotta give them credit. They really thought about the aesthetics of this place. I don't understand the bronze statue out there is kind of a weird looking hitter.
Yeah, I don't know. That might have just been donated. Said, all right, we got to stick something.
It was a Martian or something like a person who was stretched out and super.
Yeah, it didn't
skinny.
look anatomically correct. You were talking about the neighborhood around the ballpark. We did try to explore North Little Rock a little bit. Not exactly thrilled that we did. There are a couple of breweries that are right near the ballpark. Unfortunately, going to a night game, they were closed after the game. So we actually ended up being downtown North Little Rock because we were actually staying in Memphis. So we had a 2-hour drive back the other way. So we didn't explore the city. But we stopped in this little place. It was called the Four Quarter Bar. It was advertised as a sports bar. We got there. It really wasn't a sports bar. It was really kind of divey, but some pretty good burgers, I got to say. So, but we were on Main Street, and there isn't much to Main Street, and it was, not a family type destination, let's just say. But nowhere I felt unsafe. But the city of North Little Rock kind of looked like when you go outside of Hartford into like East Hartford and stuff. So that's what it reminded me of it as a New Englander. So yeah, like you said, most likely a place you're going to come to the ballpark and then go back along your way.
What
But
What did you think of the banners signifying their championships?
I don't recall them.
That's because there weren't any. Trick question.
Yeah, tricked me, Dave.
Yeah, they've won the Texas League 8 years, dating back to 1966. This is a pet peeve of mine. You've won the championship 8 times. No banners. And again, here's another park. I have no idea who played there. They were a affiliate of the Cardinals for a number of years. Plenty of big time players have gone through here, but you don't see them. They do have a nice kind of old school trophy case, but if you've ever looked at like trophy cases, they're just kind of stuffed with everything.
They do have a Travelers Museum in the ballpark as well.
They do. Was it open when you went?
I didn't check. I don't think it was because there was somebody standing by the door guarding it. So
it was not open when I went. So that was a big kind of disappointment. So, maybe that's
where all your good stuff is.
Maybe there is stuff in there. But I was disappointed that there was no kind of nods to former players. There was no nods to their championship history. Those are really only and the location is not the greatest. But that would affect you more than me because I'm just kind of more of an in and out, get in there,
But
get
you know,
out
it
of
wasn't
there
a horrible
kind of
location, like
guy.
you said. Parking was convenient, access was very convenient. Great view of the skyline across the river, especially on fireworks night, like when we went. So
Okay.
that was really a plus on that time. But yeah, if you're a big fan of the downtown ballparks, you're not going to get that here. But it's very downtown accessible. And let's talk about that logo for a second on your hat there. Man, I did not like this logo. In fact, it took me a little while to figure out exactly what the logo was. So
It's a horse,
yeah, it's a horse wrapped around the letter A.
horse head, and
I don't
then
know why. I couldn't figure it out. I saw the horse thing that's wrapped around the A. It looked like a D. So I'm like, what's the D mean? I'm
oh,
not
so
gonna.
like over on this
Yeah,
side.
I got that it was a horse's head, but I'm like, what's the D mean? Arkansas Travelers. There's no D in there. But I thought maybe it was a secret message like
That's
DC for
probably
the
one
Twin
of those
Cities.
things where you see it one way and you're going to see it like that for a long time
That's
until
it.
somebody tells you otherwise.
Exactly.
For
Oh,
me,
look at
that was
that.
the Milwaukee Brewers logo. Like,
You could
why
figure
is
out it
there
was
a
a glove
glove? Like, who cares? It took me forever. I never saw the
to
M
see
and the
the
B.
MB. So yeah, I mean, this is Arkansas is part of the Texas League,
Mhm.
for better or for worse. I've only been to two Texas League ballparks, and man, I got to say, they're 2 for 2 in my book.
I've also been to two. I've been to this one and to Northwest Arkansas, which compare and contrast, totally different from this one.
My other Texas League ballpark was Frisco, which
Ah,
is
yes, the lazy
among my
river.
favorites in all of the major leagues. Yeah. Well, yeah, the lazy river doesn't hurt, but still, such a unique ballpark. But yeah, Arkansas, Little Rock, great place, centrally located. If you're taking a road trip in any direction, like you said, you went this way to Northwest Arkansas. I went that way to Memphis. You can go that way to Oklahoma.
Yep.
There's teams in every direction. So great place to include on any of your summer ballpark trips or any of your stadium journeys. So that's our look at Dickey-Stephens Park and the Arkansas Travelers. Hope you enjoyed joining us today, and I hope to see you on the road again real soon. Cheers.
Cheers.